The companies that win over the next 5 to 6 years are not necessarily going to be the ones with the best AI tools. The ones that are going to see meaningful progress are the ones with leaders who built cultures around the idea of willing to learn faster than everyone else. People learn more from what leaders model than from what leaders mandate. Hey there, entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Scale to Sell podcast, the business owners podcast designed to help you build transferable value, create more freedom, and exit on your terms. My name is Adam Burton, and I am host of this episode, number 66. AI adoption is a leadership problem, not a technology problem. Now, Steve was going to be joining me for this conversation. Unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, he is not able to be here today. So I'm holding down the fort, but we're still going to have a great conversation. Again, all designed around the idea of how do we help you create business freedom, financial freedom, and personal freedom through the teams, the systems, the processes, all of those things, so that you can live the life of significance that you want to. And we're going to start off by actually asking a question and then build off of that from there with some recent stories that we heard from business owners. And that's why it was really where this conversation stemmed from. Why are so many business owners excited about AI, but frustrated that their teams aren't really using it? Maybe there's some pushback. Maybe there's some hesitancy. There's some fear or concern on the part of the employees as to what this actually is, what's going on. What does AI mean for it? Honestly, they're probably just reading social media or news headlines. And a lot of that is fueling concern, hesitancy, not really sure what to think or how is the best way to go about approaching this very important topic for where we're at, very transformative topic. So I want to share why this is so important because I think it'll connect with a lot of you. We started holding business owner roundtable events where every quarter or so, we bring together business owners from different industries, everything from services and retail to, lawn maintenance, HVAC, all those things to professional services, all sorts of different backgrounds of even times that the amount of time that they've been the owner of the business. A number of them are founders. But what I love about the people that we've had join us at different meetings so far is their perspectives, their backgrounds. They give you such great feedback on what they're going through right in that time period. And what a great opportunity we structured around having part of it is a core teaching part where we bring in different experts in different industries to talk about things that the business owners should know about and should be on their radar and impact the way in which they run their businesses. And at the same time, we open it up for everyone that's in attendance there to really share about themselves, their business, what they're going through. And you learn from so many different people, different solutions that they found. You hear something that would be helpful to you, even though it's from someone in a completely different industry. It's great. Love it. And both times this year that we've had the Business Owner Roundtable, I've presented on a topic related to AI. And so the first time we were talking about SEO and GEO, so search engine optimization, which we're likely familiar with because it's been around for a couple decades now. But now GEO and the changes in consumer behavior around generative engine optimization, how AI search is really changing the way that people find out about and perceive your business, right? It's changing visibility and understanding what that means for our messaging and our marketing. Great conversation. Awesome follow-up and around that particular topic. And then this past one that we had just a couple weeks ago now at the time of the recording, I was talking about AI employees and what it looks like to have AI systems in a business that support your human teams to really free you up from the manual, the repetitive work that takes a lot of time, and that by having a system in place can free you up to do higher level, higher leverage type of actions in your business. And it was a great conversation. I'm going to talk about some of that here in just a minute. But the feedback that we got from so many owners, it was, as a teacher, I loved it because it was like a light bulb moment. They saw the possibilities. But one of the common phrases that we heard afterwards that we were talking about in our dialogues with everyone was, I see the value. I see the opportunity, but my team is not bought in on AI. There's a reluctance, there's a hesitancy, there's a fear, there's all of these different emotions wrapped up into this. And whether that's because of the hype around AI, whether that's a legitimate fear that should be addressed and taken very seriously, that's kind of what we're going to break down today is how do we lead with AI? Because most of the problems that people are dealing with are not the technology side. It's figure outable. It's one of those things we're going to talk about it a little bit today, and we'll build off of it in our conversations going forward. But this is a big part of the conversations that I'm having with business owners right now is what does this look like? And how do I get my team to actually care about this in a way that like I do? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. But one of the stories that I shared there, and this is, again, one of those light bulb moments about leadership. My wife and I are big learners. We love to read. We both taught for a number of years and still a teacher at heart for if we're being transparent there. And we care about our daughters. We have 2 young daughters, and we want them to have a desire to read, to learn, to love learning like we do. And I was telling the business owners there that we didn't try, and we aren't doing this now, right? Of trying to instill a love of learning by chucking books at them and telling them, you need to figure it out on your own. Or, something like, if you don't learn to read, this is the punishment that you're going to face. This is going to be the consequence, and try to go at it from that perspective. From the day they were born, all like very literally, like we're bringing them home from the hospital and I'm laying on the floor next to them, like reading. I've shared a picture with the business owners of our oldest daughter. I don't even know that she was a month old. We're sitting in her room and I'm just reading to her. She probably has no idea what's going on. She's just looking at me like, what are you doing? But we were reading to them. We read with them. We've gotten to the point where they love it and they go grab a book and they'll plop down on our laps and we'll read book after book after book because we spent the time to get them engaged in the process, to show them that it's fun, all the cool stories and the pictures and things like that. They love it. And we also modeled it ourselves. They saw us read, whether it was reading our Bibles, whether it was reading a book, a biography or a fun story, whether it was a hard copy or on a Kindle. Like they would see us in different contexts read, and you kind of pick up on that type of opportunity. People learn more from what leaders model than from what leaders mandate. They learn more from what leaders model than what they mandate. Your actions speak louder than words, right? That's the old phrase. But that's exactly where many companies are struggling with AI right now. There's a gap between those of what many owners are doing and kind of struggling with as they're trying to get their teams bought into this whole idea of how do we embrace new technology and how do we adjust to a changing economy. And those that are doing it well and seeing great success because they're not just viewing AI as a tool, they're seeing the need for the leadership behind it in order to connect with their teams, in order to move forward and to see how this is going to change the way their business operates. So what many owners are doing, I'm talking to owners in different contexts, right? You probably know this yourself. You are buying AI tools, right? Once you buy one, it seems like the ads on social media are everywhere. And it's like this tool, that tool, that's all the shiny objects. You see a lot of owners buying AI tools telling their employees to, hey, learn AI, use it, implement it, that sort of a thing. Mentioning it maybe in meetings or forwarding articles or videos of like, hey, look at this, or hey, go do that. Without really taking the time to understand what's going on with the teams and the tools that you should be using, could be using to take your business to the next level, to really grow the transferable value, or what we talked about last time in episode 65, the enterprise value of your business. But what we often see is that leadership isn't visibly using it. What we often see is that nobody is modeling experimentation or the idea that AI is a skill that you can develop, that it's not just a you show up and you immediately know how to make this the most valuable thing in the world, but that there's an opportunity for there to learn and grow and to develop that skill further. That teams are afraid to fail, right? They feel like there's this pressure of adopting it and doing it in a way that they're automatically going to know what to do or how to handle a situation, or what even opportunities are available with the AI platforms that are out there now, and the ones that'll, next week suddenly, the other thing seems obsolete because of all the changes that keep happening, or the employees don't even know what good looks like. Like, how do you implement something well in this space? What does that look like, and how do you succeed with it? There's a lot of fear because of AI among our employees, no matter what department, no matter what level it's in. You see it show up in the conversations and the way that people behave around it, and the reluctance that we were hearing on the part of business owners across different industries, from construction to retail opportunities, all of the things. And what we see here is that the job of the leader is to create psychological safety around learning. That's what we've had success in. When we understand where people are at, what the opportunities available are going to allow for, and we're able to walk people back off of the concerns that about their jobs, about, is AI just going to take my job? What's going to happen to me in this concern, right? They're concerned about their livelihoods. Like, are they going to show up one day and it's like, well, you're no longer needed, so like, bye, see ya. There's a lot of fear around that. There's a lot of fear around looking dumb. If they don't know it, how do you apply it? What does that look like? And are they going to be ostracized, outcast? Are they going to get demoted, see pay decreases, or cuts and other opportunities going forward? What is that going to look like? Fear of getting it wrong, right? There's so many questions that people have around AI and creating systems, and how do you use it in an effective way? And just overall, a fear of change. Anytime we've had systems and new technology come into play and have upended things, it's caused some significant changes in the economy, the jobs that are available, both in terms of the ones that we've had that are no longer available, and now the new ones that have opened up because of that technology. We see that across the industrial revolutions, the 1800s, 1900s, and before then, after then, all of the across history. Any type of technology change has impacted the way that people work, the way that they earn, the way that they provide for themselves and their families. And so there's understanding those concerns that are always there, but that'll just apply in a new context, and being able to understand and communicate what those opportunities are, why we're doing this. Like I said earlier, the way that we're using AI in our businesses is to free us up from the things that we do on a daily, weekly, monthly, even a yearly basis that take up our time because they're repetitive tasks, they're very manual, time consuming, and they keep us from the higher value work that we could be doing. And I think importantly, coming at it from the perspective that we do, there's a lot of value that humans add in the connection that we make with our clients, with our customers, with our prospective clients that we need to build, that technology can help us do, but we still have to have that human element present. there's still the opportunities to how do we take these things to the next level, and how do we improve the experience for our team, improve the experience for our customers, and how do we use this in a new and powerful way? And again, the safety around the conversation, understanding the concerns that people have, and being able to speak to them in a meaningful way that assuages their fears, and at the same time gives them an hope and an opportunity and understanding of what this is to look like in your particular business. And so one of the things that I shared of what this looks like what how do we understand how people are using AI? And I was breaking it down into 4 categories for the sake of time that I had at the particular event to share. And I was talking about going from an AI dabbler, someone who's just playing around with it, almost like it's their new Google search, just using it very occasionally and just for kind of one-off things. It's like an old gumball, right? You're using AI in a way that you stick the quarter in, you turn it around, the one gumball pops out. One input, one output, very manual. You still have to do the repetitive task over and over again. That's the dabbler. That's the one that's barely really engaging with it at all, and is probably not seeing that much of an increase in opportunity because of how it's being used. Then you have the operator. This is the person that I view them as the person on the treadmill, right? Maybe you're using AI regularly, so you're getting faster, but you're getting faster at doing the same type of work. And so you're able to maybe increase the speed on the treadmill, but it feels like you're still not really getting anywhere because it's still a little bit manual. You're still going to do the same tasks, applying it in the same way, but the efficiency might be there a little bit more than just someone who's dabbling with it. Doesn't really know how to write a good prompt, what it's going to take to get a good output from AI, and how to use all the connection and capabilities that are inside Claude or ChatGPT or whichever platform you're using. And this is where we get to the builder. Think like the hard hat, like, down in the construction part where you're starting to create repeatable systems and workflows. Maybe you're saving the prompts that have worked really well for you, so you're not having to reinvent the wheel every time. But it's not a full system that is fully integrated with the other tools that you're using. It doesn't necessarily have a schedule that it runs on that it can run in the background even when you're not there. That's really the AI architect, right? The gumball factory, as opposed to the, one quarter in, turn it, one gumball pops out. The AI factory is like the full system of thinking strategically how AI transforms the business itself, in creating systems that can be repeated, can be scheduled, are connected to your tools to really make things as freeing as possible when it comes to those repetitive tasks that you do on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis, whatever the case may be. And so we see the opportunities no matter what department you're talking about, whether it's marketing, sales, finance, HR, whatever the case may be. There's opportunities because all of us have tasks that fall into those categories of things that we do all the time, that we could start leveraging AI in order to do those things faster, hopefully even better, and create the kinds of outputs that we need to free us up to do even more higher value things going forward. Oftentimes we talk with business owners and it's the classic, I'm too busy working in the business to work on it. And this is one of the ways that we help teach that, right? Instead of just doing a task, instead of just doing a to-do list, I heard it put this way. I think it was Ryan Dice that said this, that was talking about a to-build list. Like, forget the to-do list, a to-build list. What are the systems that I need to build in order to free up the time, in order to, what we would say, create the transferable value, create more freedom in your for your business, for your finances, for your personal life, and to create the optionality when it comes time to exit, and whatever that looks like, whether that means you're no longer in the business, whether that means you're changing roles And so what you do now has to be a part of that system that you've created to allow other people to be able to do that, right? So they can scale beyond you. And that's the difference. That's the trajectory that people are going on. Either they're just dabbling in it, just using it like Google as a new way to search for answers, or actually creating meaningful output in a way that really allows you to change the game of how your business operates, how your business uh, serves your teams, how your teams are able to serve your customers, and how you're able to grow in this modern economy. And so a couple of things to think about as we work through this conversation and what this means and what you should be thinking about going forward, just like what we've been processing in our own business. The companies that win over the next 5 to 6 years are not necessarily going to be the ones with the best AI tools. Of course it happens, right? Of course we want the best tools and things like that. But the ones that are going to see meaningful progress are the ones with leaders who built cultures around the idea of willing to learn faster than everyone else. It's not just buying a tool. It's people, it's your process, it's how you integrate those things all together. And so having that culture of learning, of experimentation, of, hey, let's try this out. Let's see what we can do. We just did this recently. We were in the middle of a promotion and limited time opportunity through one of the companies that we work with. And we had a stretching goal to be able to get to in roughly a month and a half. And it was an opportunity for our team to say, we're going to try some things. We don't know if it's going to work, but we're willing to see in order to try to achieve the goals that we had set for ourselves in that limited time period. And it was amazing how, when it was framed as an opportunity for us to problem solve together as a team, and people saw how it was freeing up time in order to do even more important things to reach those goals, and doing the same work that we had been doing in a more manual way before, what opportunities that gave us to really try new things that we wouldn't have had time for if we were still stuck doing the old system, old ways of doing things, not willing to experiment, not willing to learn together, test things out. It would have been completely different. And it's that culture of learning, that culture of willing to grow, and the idea of everyone's in this together. It's a team sport. We're learning it, we're applying it. And I love the companies, and this is something that we're working to develop in our own, but I saw this example of an AI of a work chart. So the org chart for the entire company, CEO, and then it had all the different department heads, and under each of the direct reports under each of those. And for every single person on the team, they had the different AI tools that they had built, and Claude they'd gone in and created skills that were designed to help them accomplish their specific tasks that they would normally do, again, on a daily, weekly, monthly, or even yearly basis, that they could go to help them accomplish that job and to free up time so that they could do even more higher level, higher value work, creating more systems, giving more opportunities to connect with the people that they needed to build the relationships that they needed to reach the goals of scaling the company that they had. And it changed the way that I perceived this idea of the human and AI together, right? The AI tools that empower our human teams in order to accomplish that work, and to do so in a responsible way, in an ethical way, to do so in a way that does right by our team members, that does right by the consumers and the communities that we serve. That's incredibly important. If you want your company to become AI enabled, your team doesn't just need instructions. They don't just need commands from you. They need an example. And I don't mean by that you have to be the one that understands all of the AI. But again, it's all about the perspective. It's all about the approach that you're going to take in order to lead your teams through this. It's how we talk about it, the conversations that we have, how we understand people's fears around AI and what's going on, and how do we implement it, and what does this mean for the opportunities to grow and to continue to serve and to grow income of our team members, right? Earn more and be able to do different things and to grow in our roles as a part of this organization. It's powerful. And I love these conversations because when we look at what the business owners who are taking those steps are able to accomplish, it's just incredible. We're having a number of conversations with business owners right now around specific problems that they have in their business that they're looking to how can we tighten their systems first and make sure that their system is in place and not just looking at, hey, chucking a tool at something that really it's a bad process, right? The AI tool is not going to fix the bad process, but we can fix the process and use AI to help accelerate that opportunity even more and create those opportunities that otherwise the businesses aren't going to have. And so, whether it's the construction business on talking to them about the way in which they do the bidding process for their clients, or other companies that are looking to, okay, how do we create the marketing machine that really gets our message out there without having to take all of the time that it takes traditionally to do the content creation around our lead generation systems, whether it's tracking and data management, all of those things. When you look at the different aspects of your company, all of the different roles that people serve in, there are things that can be automated. There are things that can be implemented to help reduce the time, reduce the repeatable manual inputs that are taken in order to accomplish those tasks. And the ability to lead in this conversation is going to directly impact the ability for your company to grow, of how it's going to scale. Next episode, and I'll give you a little glimpse into the next one. Steve and I are going to have a conversation about the idea of being the bottleneck of the business. It's a conversation we've had in some ways before, but we're really taking a deep dive into this one. And this is an example of what it looks like if we aren't going to be the kinds of leaders that we need to be and show up for our teams and show up for our customers and our communities in leading in this conversation, and how AI is really going to change the way our businesses work and how we can successfully implement it without some of the damage that people are concerned about. And so I just encourage you, if this is a conversation that you need to have with yourself, your team, and in figuring out how AI can really impact your business going forward, I'd encourage you to click the link in the show notes below or go to scaletosell.com/discovery. These are the conversations that we're having with business owners right now of what it takes to win in this AI era. And the businesses that are the first movers, the first adopters, the people that are going in and saying, hey, we're willing to do the work, to have the conversations, to really meaningfully address the concerns that our teams have and get them bought into this, are the teams that are going to win, that are going to be able to adapt to changing times. And what we do here at Scale to Sell, create transferable value, create more freedom, and create better exit options for you. That's exactly what we want to do, and see how technology can be a part of that underneath of the leadership that you and your leadership teams are providing. So I'd encourage you to share this with another owner. Maybe you're the key employee and you need to share this with your owner. Great. Absolutely. Like, what a valuable opportunity to differentiate yourself and to build that connection with someone else, to say, hey, I think this is a really important conversation. This is what I got out of it, and I think you could benefit from it too. We'd love to be able to do that. And of course, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and review the podcast. It helps us build our community here as we get to share more and more stories with business owners, helping them in what it takes to build that transferable value, create more freedom, and exit on your terms. Until next time, keep scaling.